Hey there. This week we have you reading about portfolios, digital portfolios, and I thought I would give you just kind of the story of how I've used a digital space and kind of the evolution of my capabilities and what I've done. In about '98, I was taking kids to the Grand Canyon, and as part of my job as a high school English teacher, and we took pictures and I had them write, and that developed into around 2000 into a class that was like, we went to Yosemite and the redwoods, and it was neat. But what I thought was initially, we have some great pictures that we were taking on these trips. Why not put them out there on the internet so people could see them? And so we did. And early on, the for me anyway, all I could do was this sort of thing, and I mean, it was very primitive looking. I mean, it wasn't really amazing. The kids wrote about the internet or wrote about their trip and a picture here or there, but it was really difficult. It was not an easy place to work in. You know, in 2000, we were putting content, like this, which was cool, a little trickier, scanning pictures and whatnot. But even then, it was fairly primitive to me by what I know can happen today. So this is the site I was using, and I originally I started with a web editor called PageMill, and then that turned in, or I started using Dreamweaver. And I started taking things that were not just from the Grand Canyon, but from other parts of what I was doing, which, I was taking kids climbing and they would write about their climbing trip. I was taking kids biking and they would write about their biking trips. And canoeing, that was cool. They would write about their canoeing trip. That was good, but we had all kinds of stuff, and a lot of students. I was able at that point to help students kind of make some content that they were doing. So that's kind of where I started. About 7 years ago, I created this site. Pardon me. Created this site, which was as part of an application for the job that I currently have. It looks a little slicker, but again, it was done with the same tools. There is no possible interaction on this site. It's all content delivery. It's stuff you can only watch or read or listen to. But I included different stuff on this. I included like my resume, so it has some stuff, what I've done. I included some links to various websites that I had done, for example, that wilderness literature class, and these other websites that I had made. I included some multimedia that I had done and students had created. It was very different from what I had done before. It looked a little nicer, but still it was very static. And so now, for those of you in the class here, now this is what my space looks like, and it's based on a WordPress blog. It still has links to all that other stuff. The sketchy details here, for example, is a link to kind of a splash page for that resume. The other links here are either presentations that I have done or other websites I have created. The graffiti is a bunch of like articles that I have written at various times, and the navigate back. Some notes that I've taken for events, and then a link to some videos I've made in YouTube. But as you know now, I mean, it's like it's a blog environment. It is interactive, so people can interact with the content. And I've kept it really simple. I have some links up here, these social media links to Flickr and Twitter and all that, but for the most part, I've kept it really simple. I also went from, in this case, the content was on the high school's server. In this case, it is on the Yavapai College server. In this case, it's in the wholeclassroom.com. That's like my space. I mean, I pay for it every year, and it's mine, and I feel very responsible for, the maintenance of it. So I'm a little more invested in it. Anyway, that's kind of my little story with my portfolio, and since that's what we're doing this week, I thought I would just share with you kind of my progression. And remember, I mean, that's been over, since like 1998. So it's been over, a few years that all this has happened. So you can't expect miracles. I will say that for you guys in this class, you have learned kind of what's possible and what you can do in 7 weeks. And it took me like 7 years to get to that point. So I would say, you have a really good leap ahead of where I started. And I have no doubt that you'll continue to do some amazing things and share amazing things in whatever platform you choose to share them on. But anyway, that's my story. It's week 7. We're looking for you to kind of share with us what you've learned, what you've thought about during the class, and hopefully kind of say by the end of this is where I'm starting, and this is where I'm going to create a space for me to work in, and you'll have a portfolio and an ongoing descriptive demonstration of who you are as an educator. So that's what we're looking for, and it's the last week. Good work.